Sigmund Freud.
Who was he?
Called the father of modern psychiatry.
Wow.
He developed a theory. Now, you have a degree in counseling, right?
I do.
All right.
Can't you tell?
Do you remember projection?
I do.
Do you remember the defense mechanism that was?
I use it all the time.
Well, Freud said, basically, when you have the therapist sitting there and the person undergoing psychoanalysis projects his feelings onto the therapist. That's why the therapist isn't supposed to say anything. I'm supposed to get those feelings and that cauldron of my id out on. Well, projection...
Do you understand this? I have no idea.
Every
Anyway,
once in a
go
while,
ahead.
I get to sound smart.
Yeah. He's a doctor.
Yeah. So projection now means I see in you what I do. Do you see that among people, that they're hypersensitive to these faults and foibles in other folks, that they're blind in themselves?
Well, of course, everybody does it, I think.
I'm asking you simple questions, okay?
Is it that simple? I think that's what everybody does. You do it, I do it, you do it. We all do it. When we project onto other people what we really feel, what we're really thinking, but we'll judge.
What we struggle with.
Exactly.
Like he's a braggart.
Exactly.
He's a braggart. He's
so we
self-centered.
judge it. He is one obnoxious human being. And when I say that, it means I am one obnoxious human being, right? But I don't want to deal with that. I would rather just look at it in him and not see that in me.
Would that be a good way to study yourself?
It'd be a great way to study yourself. That's why, remember when you were was a little kid and you were taught when you point at somebody, you point one finger there, but 3 other fingers are pointing back at yourself. Meaning that whatever you're seeing there, look here first. And so when you are looking, that's why often when you look at people and there's stuff about them you don't like, it's things about you don't like, you know, it's you.
Ooh, that would be a very good way to learn insight.
It would learn insight, but it would also learn understanding of people. Because that which you don't like in someone else is usually something inside yourself. And if for you to learn to accept them, you also learn to accept yourself. For you to sit there and understand, well, why did they do that? It might help you to come to understand why you do it too.
If I look at somebody else and I say, boy, that dude, boy, I mean, he self-promotes. He just self-promotes. Just look at that. His I is every other sentence.
Sure.
And then I notice it about 7 other people also.
Sure.
Would you say the number count would be an indication that the more I notice it in many others,
sure,
the more likely it is to be in me?
Because, you know, how often you say something like that and then you hold up one of your books, hi, I'm Dr. Ray, would you buy one of my books? But look at
I
all
do
these
have the
people
books here in case you're interested.
Self-promotion. But again, though, of course, I think that that's why I'm saying that we project a lot. And that can be helpful to us, very helpful, when we sit there and think, to know that what I'm saying about someone else and what I don't like about them, or what I do like about them, is what I like about myself or don't like about myself. And then once we get that truth, then that truth can set us all free.
Is that a non-threatening way to do it? In other words, I don't like to look at me.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't want to look at me.
I wouldn't want to look at you either.
It's getting being uglier.
Yeah.
I tell people, you know, my pictures don't do me justice. They look too much like me.
Yes.
So given that, if I don't want to search myself, I can ask the question, what do I search in others?
Yep.
That could lead me to myself.
Absolutely. And I think that it should give us the compassionate. You know, compassion means to suffer with. And so when I see the good and bad in someone else and I can be compassionate with them because I'm suffering with them too, I have these same things in my own life. And I think it can just help us. It can set us free from ourselves when we're looking at ourselves through the lens of another person.
You think Freud knew that when he was talking about all that projection stuff, that we Christians would turn that around and say, hey, Freud, thanks, we can use your stuff?
Yes, exactly. And there's always truth in everything, right? There's little truths, and all truth has even little truths in it, even by someone who might be secular and God has no part. You know, so some of the stuff we talk about could still be true.
We're projecting here.
We are.
Because if we didn't, you couldn't see this. There are projectors all around us.
Oh, but he's on Prozac. I don't know if he really knows
He's
that.
projecting. I'm not. He's projecting.